Sal Stewart should be the rookie of the year, not anybody named JJ. I play for the stupid Dirty Birds Wetherholt.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Jeff Carr, he's Steve Offenbaker, and today's Locked On Reds podcast is brought to you by Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi. Trade on anything. Later on, we will discuss Nick Lodolo's plan, or at least the part of the plan that he's come up with, to throw his breaking ball moving forward and not get blisters. In just a few minutes, your concern about Nick Krall leading another trade deadline is totally valid. And there are a few quotes that really hit home the heartburn. But we will begin today with Sal, because Sal Stewart should be the NL Rookie of the Year, and I will hear no substitutes, especially no JJ Weatherholt of it all, because Sal Stewart, this dude is good.
He's very, very good. Listen, let's just start with the fact that Sal Stewart leads JJ Weatherholt in almost all of the categories that matter. The one that people are going to look at, Jeff, they're going to look at the disparity in WAR. And they're going to say, well, JJ Weatherholt has 4.1 in WAR. Sal Stewart only has 1 point. Get out of here with that. Look at the rest of the numbers, Jeff. He's played in more games. He has just slightly more plate appearances. He trails by just one hit, but he leads in home runs. He has 6 more home runs than Wetherholt. He leads in RBIs. He leads in stolen bases. Get out of here with that. And plus, Sal Stewart's just a better guy. He plays for a better organ. Well, okay, can't do all that. But it's St. Louis.
The team we like, yeah.
He plays for the team we like. No, I mean, really, you look at this. Sal Stewart has come out of nowhere to be this guy that really is just a bundle of fun baseball. And if you're talking about the rookie of the year, the guy that's had the most impact on their team, Sal Stewart, rookie of the year, has had the most impact that any rookie is having on their team right now. Without Sal Stewart on this Reds team, we go from being, abysmal to just non-existent to watch. Sal Stewart is really raising the level of this lineup here in Cincinnati.
He absolutely is, but I also want to note that, when it comes to rookie of the year, it's not MVP. It's not how much of an impact a guy makes on a team. It is just individual performance, and his individual performance is better than JJ Weatherholt, who currently, according to our friends over on FanDuel, is like the number one guy when it comes to rookie of the year odds at the moment. And I think that Sal should beat him. And this conversation was really brought along. Obviously, the Reds are getting set to play a 3-game series in St. Louis, but also the fact that there were some folks on Reds Twitter that were pointing this comparison over on Baseball Reference out of the wins above replacement, the 4.1 for JJ Weatherholt compared to 1.2 for Sal Stewart. And they kind of framed it as why do people care about WAR if this is what you get? Because literally Sal is better in every offensive category. The key here is JJ Weatherholt, the metrics love his defense, and the metrics love his base running, and he has way more, points, as it were, in the wins above replacement category than Sal Stewart does. So that is why Sal Stewart can lead him in so many different batting category stuff, and yet JJ Weatherholt has such a higher wins above replacement than he does.
And I would like to point out that Sal Stewart leads Wetherholt in OPS plus. So Sal Stewart is slightly better than Wetherholt is above league average as far as that goes by, I think, 2%, according to the graph. So, I feel like here's a problem. Here's the thing. Outside of the WAR argument, the problem for Sal Stewart is going to be that he's playing for a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad Cincinnati Reds team in 2026. And the St. Louis Cardinals are performing far beyond expectation. Now, I know you're going to come back at me and say, but that's not what the award's about.
It's not.
And you're right. You're right. But nevertheless, the voters are going
The
to go.
anti-Cincinnati voter.
That's the thing they're going to take into account.
Because, I mean, Jonathan India won it in a non-playoff year for the Reds. Like, I think, and I would love to do some comparisons as we get later on into the season as, Sal to Jonathan India, because obviously Sal's going to have a lot more power numbers than India has or had. But at the same time, like, you're right. It feels like there are reasons that they're going to give this award to JJ Weatherholt instead of Sal Stewart. And it feels wrong to do that, because what we have seen from Sal Stewart is just so much more impressive. I feel like JJ Weatherholt hits a home run and Major League Baseball has 3 different accounts tweeting about it. And when Sal Stewart does something, they've got to retweet the Reds or, something like that. They got to find it. And social media presence isn't a part of the award, but it certainly lets you know where the voters' minds are at. So for me, I'm with you. I understand that there's going to be some buffoonery that is about and trying to make this seem as though Sal Stewart should not win the award. But I firmly believe that we have seen the NL Rookie of the Year, and he wears red, and it has nothing to do with a bird. It has everything to do with the sea. And I really want to see this come through for him, because Sal has put together the kind of season that I think that we would be impressed by from like a veteran dude. It's talked about a lot, his prowess with runners in scoring position this season. But let's just say it again. Dude hits 282 with runners in scoring position. Steve, he slugs 621. 6. That number starts with 6. That's not OPS. That's his slugging. Starts with 621. He has 10 homers with runners in scoring position, half of the homers that he has. And he's just an absolute beast when guys get on base.
I could not agree with you more about the impacts that Sal Stewart has had. I think when you look at Wetherholt, I think that all of the reasons we're hitting on right now, the competitiveness of the team he's playing on, you're right. The social media stuff shouldn't matter, but it does. The amount of fans in the ballpark to see him play is greater than what Sal's getting in Cincinnati. So, Sal probably does have an exposure problem. And the Reds, there's not a lot they're getting right this year. They're not getting that right either, but there's still time for them to correct it. They really need to start marketing Sal Stewart better and get him out there in front of people's eyes. Every time he does something, get that highlight out. Every time he says something cool, get that highlight out. Every time he has an impact, get that highlight out. Keep him in front of people's faces every single day and keep him in the conversation.
Yeah, his latest quote needs to be like the next Cincy shirt that it gets made. I don't know if you saw this clip or not, but from the other day, whenever he hit the big homer to beat the Mariners, and Jim Day was talking to him after the game, and he asked him, he's just like, man, all these RBIs and like rookie records and all this, like, what do you think about that? He's just like, I just care about winning. And that's it. That's all he said. He said, I just care about winning.
That's
tweet. What we should care about. Sal is the guy that you build this team around moving forward, because he is phenomenal.
All right, Jeff. As fun as it's going to be to track this Rookie of the Year race, things are about to change in the city of Cincinnati, and Nick Krall is about to run himself a trade deadline that everybody, including you and I, has a lot of concerns about, and those concerns, they're valid. Before we get into the rest of today's show, it's time for the Everyday Icon presented by Stance. As an official sock partner of Major League Baseball, Stance knows greatness isn't built in a single moment. It's earned over time through consistency, preparation, and showing up every day. That's why each week we're recognizing one player whose performance embodies those same qualities. This week's Everyday Icon is none other than my guy, Tyler Stevenson. That's right. Ty Steve is having himself a week. During the course of this week, he has not only hit a bunch of baseballs, 3, 4, 5 hits in 5 games, 2 home runs, raised his trade value, and is just the best at what he does with the ABS. For these reasons, he is the icon that we know he deserves to be. The Everyday Icon is presented by Stance. Check out the Icon collection over at Stance. Premium comfort, performance, and durability designed for whatever your day brings. Use the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Stance, the official sock partner of Major League Baseball. Learn more at stance.com. Thanks for being an everydayer. You can go ad-free. Elevate your game when you're following the Cincinnati Reds. Go ad-free on the audio side with the Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer to get started. $5 a month, $50 a year is going to get you the ad-free version of the show in your audio feed as well, and some other perks along the way. Check it out today. Links down in the show description. All right, Jeff, we're going to get into this. Nick Krall going to run himself a trade deadline. And he's been talking to people. And, you know, when Nick Krall is talking to people, you and I spend a whole lot of time just shaking our heads. And Nick Krall did not disappoint.
No, he's really good at this. He is a consistent put foot in mouth, you know, whatever you want to use metaphor for whenever he says stuff to reporters. And this is stuff that he has said to reporters, direct quotes, mind you, this year. In fact, this month, we're not even going to rehash like the old stuff that everybody loves to harp on. This is new stuff. He was talking to Charlie Goldsmith, and Charlie was writing about, you know, the updates on the Reds trade deadline plans and things like that. And he had this direct quote talking about some plans and things like that. He said, quote, Nick Krall said, quote, "Why you did one trade shouldn't be too much in conjunction with another deal," end quote. So all trades happen in a vacuum, right, Steve? Like the Key Brian Hayes trade, that happened in a vacuum. I
think this really sheds some light on why things are as bad as they are around here, because you have to approach things like a chessboard. You have to see the whole board. You have to see that if you trade this guy to get that guy, and maybe that guy a plus, and then you can take your plus and add it to that guy and go get that need over there. Nick Krall's playing checkers. That's the problem.
Checkers, or I don't know.
Maybe
Chinese
shoots
checkers.
And ladders.
Mahjong.
Maybe he's playing
shoots and ladders. That's what it is.
Tiddlywinks. What is going on?
It's not the same game, and it's annoying too, because like this article that Charlie had, it's kind of been dissected to death on Reds Twitter right now, so I'm not going to go too crazy like dissecting all the different things, but like that quote just stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Like, what are we doing? But then he has another one. This one from Gordon Whitmire in the Cincinnati Enquirer. He said, quote, "My job is to do what's best for this organization. And if I start trying to worry about that," meaning, you know, the question of if he is worried about his job security, he said, "then we're going to make bad moves," end quote. Steve, it's because he's not worried about his job security. His bosses have made it very clear that he is doing exactly what they want him to do. And it is not anything to do with the wins and losses. It's all about that checkbook, making sure it balances.
Is he under the impression that he's been making good moves?
I think so.
He said that's when you make bad moves. He's done nothing but make bad moves. Someone's got to tell him, Jeff. Someone's got to tell him that he's making bad moves.
Right. The wins and losses speak for themselves. I don't care about anything else. And if they want to go into prospect rankings, oh, by the way, those got worse too. Like there's not a thing here that you can like squint and turn your head sideways, turn the lights down low, jump up and down and see something that looks good, which is, by the way, what he says next.
Wait, before you get to that quote, though, did you see the piece that Lance McAllister put out talking about Nick Krall's tenure with this organization from the time he was a ball boy or whatever the hell it was that he was doing when he started. Every aspect of the organization that Nick Krall has put fingerprints on is worse than it was before he put his fingerprints on it. Lance McAllister did a great job of pointing out just how badly Nick Krall has done, and yet is promoted time and time and time again. And it's a travesty. There has been no accountability for Nick Krall during his entire tenure with this organization.
It feels like the thing that everyone worries about with the Cincinnati Reds, and that is that they really like to toot their own horn, even when everyone else understands what's really going on. Because, they talk about this and that, and this was a good trade, that was a good trade. This guy's still in AA, that guy's in single A, this guy just made it to AAA. How do we know any of those trades are good? I mean, until they get to the major leagues and they're actually producing, how do we know they're good? Because I'm starting to wonder about the Luis Castillo trade that we love so much with Noelvi Marte and Edwin Arroyo and all those guys. It's starting to not look very good. And
is the Tyler Mahle deal really is that the only one that we can kind of say?
Even then, Reds? Spencer Steer's the only one. Everyone else is gone. Christian Encarnacion Strand is hitting home runs for Baltimore right now. And the other guy that they got in that was a pitcher. He was part of the Will Benson trade. Will Benson is still in the organization, but he's not on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like how much? I mean, I guess it was a win because the guys they traded away didn't do all that great. But Luis Castillo has done well. He's going to be one of the most remembered Mariners in their shorter existence than the Reds. But still, the whole point is they love to toot their own horn, and everyone is sitting around saying, "What are we celebrating here?" And that flows into his next quote, which was back from that same the trade deadline thing. I wanted to get one more quote from it, from Charlie's chalkboard. Nick Krall said, quote, "We've got a lot of good quality baseball people, analytics people, and scouts. We have a lot of discussions about why this person fits versus why that person fits. We've got a lot of really good people in this organization. They've done a good job." End quote. Direct quote. They've done a good job. I mean, is he talking about
what?
Is he talking about community outreach? Because they've done good at that.
The Reds Community Fund. That's the only thing that anybody ever points to that's successful. That's it. That's the only thing.
And I hate to belabor this point, but the Reds Community Fund doesn't make the playoffs. I love the Reds. I really, really do. But we have this guy in charge that a lot of us are worried about making the right decisions, given that he has already made some kind of rough decisions. And when he is sitting there talking to a reporter and telling them that he thinks that he is doing a good job, he is not worried about his job security. And when he approaches a trade deadline, all trades are approached in a vacuum. That really underscores why everyone is so worried about this deadline, because you and I have talked about hey, maybe look at trading this guy. This guy might be dealt. Maybe you're looking for this type of player. Maybe you're looking for that type of player. Every single one of those episodes have multiple comments in the comments section going, yeah, but it's Nick Krall doing it. So is it going to be good?
We're back to shopping with Cole's cash, man. That's where we're at. That's what Nick Krall is doing. He's looking for a Groupon he's right now searching Groupon to see if you can get a 3-for on outfielders. That's what he's doing. That's really how the Reds front office is running this organization. I don't know, Jeff. I don't know what to do, because he can't believe that. It cannot be what he really thinks. He cannot think that this organization has done a good job. He cannot think that the people that he has working for him are doing a bang-up job at providing him with information and recommendations, and they're going out and getting the best people possible. See Candelario, Jamer. See Wes Myers. See the other 15 guys they brought in here and spit money on and cut, and he can't believe it. He cannot believe it. You know, we told him he needed to get public relations classes and needed to get help with learning how to speak. And apparently the only things he went out and did is took a couple acting classes so that he could look Charlie Goldsmith in the eye and not crack a smile while he was saying this crap. This is unbelievable, Jeff, that this guy can look at this organization and look at what they've done over, I don't know, the entire time that he's been here and think that anybody's done a good job. Nobody's done a good job. The medical staff hasn't done a good job. The coaching staff hasn't done a good job. God knows the players haven't done a good job. The owners haven't done a good job. The front office hasn't done a good job. I mean, hell, opening day, you can't even get food or beer. The concessions aren't doing a good job. Nothing with this team is working. And he says everybody's doing a good job.
And what we're trying to say is your concerns about Nick Krall running this trade deadline are completely valid, and we share them.
100%.
We are worried about what's going to happen here because it doesn't feel like who is running this thing is going to change.
We got to stop reading Nick Krall quotes. I can't do this anymore.
Got to stop reading. That's just what it is. We're going to tell people to stop reading now. This is
stop it.
Welcome to Locked On Stop Reading.
Stop.
When it comes to, but let's switch gears a little bit here because there were also some updates about Nick Lodolo, everybody's favorite breaking ball, and the plan that he has to throw it and not get a blister. Well, part of a plan. We'll tell you why it's key that he figures this out soon. Coming up next. All throughout Major League Baseball season, you can trade every baseball game with Kalshi. Makes the season just that much more fun. The odds on the market right now, 41% for the Reds to beat the Cardinals tonight with Rhett Lauder on the mound against Dustin May. And if you put a $100 trade in on the Reds to win tonight and the Reds do win, then you get $234.22. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code LOCKEDON to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. Kalshi. Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 and up only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. We invite you to keep the conversation going with us after the show is over. You can follow us on social media. Steve is on X at @SOffenbaker with 2 Fs. I'm on X and TikTok at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs. And the show is everywhere at Locked On Reds. All right, Steve, Nick Lodolo, I heard this update on the broadcast the other night, and it floored me a little bit. I was very surprised that he is getting ready to throw a bullpen. And I was like, really? I wasn't sure exactly when we were expecting Nick Lodolo back, but I had sort of just put that somewhere in the dark corner of my mind that I'm not worrying about it too much. And apparently, one of the reasons he's throwing this bullpen, he's only going to throw like a handful of pitches is what the report is. It's because he is retraining his grip on the breaking ball. And he said, and he was talking to Charlie Goldsmith with this over at Charlie's Chalkboard. He said, quote, I have no idea right now when he's talking about the grip. He says, I haven't even thrown it yet. There are so many different grips I can throw. It's about comfort and the ability to execute it. That tells you everything you need to know. Steve tells me everything I need to know. It's going to be a while before we see Nick Lodolo, even though the Reds really need to get him back.
We are 2 years into Blistergate around here. And
yeah.
He has already tried to throw another breaking ball with a different grip, and that generally results in him snapping his head around and watching the ball leave the park. And now we're going to throw a 6-pitch side session and find a breaking ball. This is disingenuous on the part of Lodolo. This is disingenuous on the part of the Reds. They have been trying to find him a new grip on a new breaking ball since this blister problem developed. The problem is his breaking pitch is garbage, save for the back foot breaker OG pitch that he throws that gives him a blister. When he throws that pitch and he doesn't have a blister, he's elite. He can compete to be an ace of the rotation. When he throws any other version of a breaking ball, I don't even think he qualifies as a bullpen guy in the majors because he gets tattooed. So for me, Jeff, in a season that we already know is lost, in a season that we already know they're going to sell, in a season that we already have no confidence in what the front office is doing, in a season that we already don't trust the medical staff, in a season that is lost, send him to Goodyear for the love of God and don't let him come back until he finds a new breaking ball. He doesn't need to pitch. He doesn't need to pitch in the majors again this year. Just send him away and let him work with somebody and figure this out.
And I feel like the other part of this that is really concerning, and we just keep talking about concerning things. One of these days we're going to have fun. But when it comes to the concern that I have for this update is that later on in the article that Charlie had, Charlie says that Nick Lodolo told him, it could even be a situation where he develops this new breaking ball. He then uses his old breaking ball in certain spots to maybe get a guy to swing and miss. Maybe it's his out pitch or something like that whenever he really, really needs an out. And then he throws that one. But he has this other breaking ball that he throws most of the time. Steve, just throw your breaking ball and deal with the blisters as they happen. Like, I think that's where we've got to come to with this thing. It doesn't seem like they're going to figure out a way for him to pitch without getting blisters, and they're definitely not going to find a way very quickly for him to pitch without throwing that breaking.
It's just comical. It's comical. I mean, this conversation, this blister, I have talked about blisters more in the last year and a half than I ever thought in my whole life we would talk about blisters. Everything they've tried is not working. And I know they've tried lots of things. They've come up with all kinds of concoctions. They've come up with proprietary stuff to try and fix this problem. They've changed his grip. They've changed the amount of times he's throwing the breaking ball. They've changed everything except finding a breaking ball that's good. That's the only thing they haven't done. So I just don't see how there is any other answer that didn't just shut him down and try and figure it out. Because the guy that goes out there and doesn't throw that OG breaker is a guy that can't win. That guy can't beat major league hitters. We've seen it. There's a body of work that shows that the other breaking grips that he has tried, and he has tried more than one, the other ones that he have tried, they don't work.
No. And the crazy thing is, like, if he can figure this out, or if he can figure some form of this out, the Reds rotation is stacked.
Yes.
Without him, I don't know that it's a liability, but it's definitely not stacked. Like, it's Chase Burns, Hunter Green, and Andrew Rabbit. And then you got to figure out the other two guys. And we've got a conversation coming about Rhett Lauder. Hopefully he has a nice start tonight, but like, we got a conversation coming about him. Like, what does his future look like with this ball club? They have Chase Petty, who maybe could be a starter for them in the future. Shown flashes. They don't have a lot of other guys that are just really inspiring as options for the 4th and 5th spots. And that's why I've seen some people that are just like, well, would you entertain the idea of going and bringing Brady Singer back in free agency, after the Reds trade him? I mean, I would certainly entertain it, but yeah, the Reds are going to tell you they can't afford him. But I think that at the end of the day, like, Nick Lodolo could mean the difference between, man, we feel good about this team bouncing back next year, or it's going to be lightning in a bottle if they do.
Well, with that ray of sunshine, that's going to do it for this edition of Locked on Reds. Guys, we know it's a hard time of year, but we're going to give it to you like it's real. Off air, Jeff has a whole thing about, the Reds have killed his optimism. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the week, maybe post-trade deadline. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being an everydayer. We appreciate you. We know that so many of you out there are just like Jeff and I. You love this team, and you just can't quit them no matter how hard you try. That's where we are. We can't do it either. We feel your pain, and we're going to be here to share it with you the entire rest of this season. So click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, hang out for a 30-minute dose of therapy with this Reds team each and every day. For the audio folks, go check out Locked On MLB. Sully's got you covered over there. Mike Stanton's got you covered over there. And the folks at MLB Game Night got you covered over there. They're going to watch every single game, every single night, so that you don't have to. For the video folks, Locked On has a whole network of people talking ball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our first ever national YouTube channel. Go check that out. There is going to be something there for everybody from all of the experts of the entire Locked On podcast network. Jeff and I are going to be back in your feeds on Monday, continuing to look towards the trade deadline. Hopefully, get another series win against the stinking Dirty Birds, because if there is a team that I love to beat, it is the St. Louis Cardinals. Don't like them. Don't like them ever. We're going to have all that for you on Monday, so make sure you are subscribed. We'll keep gathering up the news, the notes, the rumors, the reports, and the information to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
Monday would be fun to talk about 3 straight series victories.
I'll take it. Take whatever we can get right now.
Yeah.